Alright guys, welcome to another little review here, and a recommendation for a series that I would highly recommend you checking out is Hunter from 1984. It ran up until 1991 and it stars Fred Dryer as Sergeant Rick Hunter and Stephanie Kramer as Sergeant Dee Dee McCall. Hunter himself, he's one of these characters. He's physically imposing, rule breaking and whatnot. What does it actually say about him for this first episode? This is literally another one of these shows where I've done it before. I've recommended a series that I haven't seen the entire run of it, and right now I've seen the entirety of season 1 of Hunter, and we're into, I think, probably episode 7 or 8 of season 2. It's one of these shows that, again, my brother put me on to. He's big into his 80s, 70s and 80s shows. This is a cop show, and Sergeant Rick Hunter, he's actually the son of a mobster. In a way, his family's got a lot of mob history, and because of that, he's got a hard time keeping a partner on the force, because most of the other cops don't trust him due to his rough methods. Like, he plays the game by his own rule book, essentially. He's always in trouble, and there's an incompetent other police man in the show, Bernie Terwilliger, Terwilliger, I think you pronounce that name, played by James Whitmore Jr. Now, he is flipping brilliant in all the shows that I've seen him in. He pops up in a lot of 70s and 80s shows, and like, I've only ever seen him in bit parts in shows, but he's always great. And but in the first episode of this series, this guy Bernie is only one that's willing to work with him, or is accepted to work with him, but Hunter decides to partner up with another maverick cop, Brass Cupcake, she's known as, Detective Sergeant Dee Dee McCall, Stephanie Kramer, against the will of the police captain. The idea they have is, right, we'll partner up as far as the police department's concerned, but we'll go and do our own thing whenever we're out, that sort of thing. So they're trying to play the cops off and thinking that they're partnered up, where they just want to do their own thing. But throughout the run of the show, they build a very close partnership, and she is not as much of a rule breaker as we get into the show as Hunter is, but she's very much the yin to his yang, essentially, in this series. It's absolutely fantastic, and it's one of these shows that, I think if it was aired today, some people might have a problem with it. It's very I'm just looking at some of the stuff it says online. The show struggled to attract an audience and drew criticism for its often graphic depiction of violence. Very much so. There's a lot of the episodes where the killers aren't brought to justice. They end up getting shot at the end of it. It is cheesiness at its finest, as far as I've seen so far, but the storytelling on it is absolutely fantastic. The reason I get into it was because it's one of these Stephen J. Cannell shows. He was responsible for a lot of the great shows in the 80s, 70s and 80s. If you see his name attached to something, did I put a J in there? Stephen Cannell, we'll just say it there. Cannell, whatever the way you pronounce that name. But if you see that name as a producer or writer attached to a series, it's usually damn good. And that's how we came across this. And saying that, the brother put me onto it. He tracked it down, and he can recall watching it whenever it was on TV, but can't really, visualize it, as we're watching it. It's similar to myself and the reviews I'm doing on Buffy over on Hellmouth Hotline, my podcast. If you haven't checked that out, go look at that. again, it's been that long since I've seen that show. I'm kind of forgetting bits and pieces, and that's where he's kind of a hunter. But he tracked it down because Canal's been the producer, writer, whatever he was doing with it. He's executive producer. Yeah, it is fantastic. We literally sat down this evening. We get into these shows. We watch like an episode before dinner, and the evenings before we split off and do our own things. And this is one of these shows that we sit down to watch. And tonight, one episode a night is what we normally do, but we had an episode. It was the first part of a two-parter, and it was some of the most engaging television. Did I say there? Tripping over my own words late at night. Yes, some of the most engaging television and writing and acting that I've seen in a long time. Of the first part, the two-part story was called Rape and Revenge, where one of the main characters, Stephanie Kramer's character, Dee Dee McCall, actually gets attacked and raped, and Hunter goes on a vengeance spree to take this guy down who's got pretty much, he's a diplomat in America from another country, and he's pretty much got immunity from everything and anything that he does. And it was gripping. It was edge of the seat stuff for that first episode, and getting into the vengeance that second episode was absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. Couldn't recommend it enough. There is, to the best of my knowledge, I believe there's 7 seasons of this. Apparently here, this is a spoiler for me, Stephanie Kramer, Dee Dee McCall, left the show after the 6th season in 1990 to pursue other acting and musical opportunities, and in the 7th season Hunter partnered with 2 different female officers. It is definitely worth a watch and checking out. But and saying that there, as I say, if it was aired today as a brand new show and done in the way that it was done back then, I kind of feel that those delicate little flowers out there might have a little bit of a problem with it. But it is what it is. I'm absolutely loving it, and definitely a recommendation for you guys. Go check it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed with it.